All right. Hello, everyone. So, some new updates in the Erica Kirk, Candace Owens battle, the war of the world. Perhaps we will all be destroyed by these two lying grifters. They ended up meeting yesterday, having a behind closed doors meeting over what Candace is doing and how this is affecting Erica and how it's affecting TPUSA. And it's very convenient, isn't it? Harsh Reality here, who I like, he's one of the real ones. He's in England. He's talking a little bit about this. I want to play some of this.
Seemingly during this meeting between these two women, and yeah, look, and if you believe some content creators, they've already dropped massive news from these meetings when they really haven't dropped really anything. We'll touch on what has been said as of recording this video, and I would imagine still will be all that's happened when I upload it. So if we go to this screen, so we've got Erica Kirk, first of all, had a very productive conversation with real Candace Owens. More to come from both of us. Looking forward to Amfest this week. Time.
So, what's really interesting is so Erica puts it, so they have this meeting behind closed doors. It's about 4.5 hours long, according to Candace. And she puts up very productive conversation with real Candace, more to come, yada, yada. Candace ends up putting something similar up as well. Very productive meeting. There were things we agreed on. There were things we disagreed on. I'll be talking about it on tomorrow's show, right? Roping everyone. Don't give anybody any extra information. The grift has to continue. Tune into my show tomorrow if you want to know what's going on and what was said. And, of course, people will line up at the trough to get their slop. And they'll want to hear what the lying, grifting storyteller has to say. And here's my question, because I don't let Erica Kirk off the hook either. When someone like Andrew Tate says it's like we're in the Matrix or it's another Matrix attack or whatever, I have been starting to believe that more and more as I see things like this. Like, it's like they are all controlled opposition. They are all paid opposition. This is what it seems like to me. Think about this for just a minute, and then I'm going to continue on with the video. Just put yourself into this situation for just a minute. You're Erica Kirk, all right? I believe she's a disingenuous widow. I don't believe she's sad that Charlie's gone. I think it was with him out of the way she can live her best life. But let's say you're her, and then you have this lying witch of Candace Owens, which is making up stories, throwing crap against the wall, hoping something will stick, trying to just blaming the entire planet for essentially for being involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination. And you decide that you need to have a behind-the-scenes conversation with this monster. Would any of you do that? If the situation were reversed, would you say, let's sit down and have a calm conversation with that person, and let's see if we can't work through our differences and figure this whole thing out? I mean, really think about that for a minute. Think about everything Candace has been saying. She claims that she's not really saying anything. She's just asking questions, which is bullshit. She's been insinuating that Israel is involved, the French Legion is involved, the American military is involved, TPUSA is involved, and then she's also put a lot of question marks on Erica herself as well. Was Erica involved, or maybe what did Erica know and she's not telling us? Like, the insinuation being you were aware of who really killed your husband, or you were aware that it was going to happen. That is what is behind all of these accusations. Would you sit down with that disgusting person? I mean, if you saw them face to face, very likely any other person would want to punch them right in the mouth, right? Or you would want to go into legal litigation and hash it out that way for all the hearsay and lies that they're telling, right? But what you don't want to do is sit down either behind closed doors or on the air, either one, with a disgusting person like that, and try to hash your differences out. So, the whole thing to me is very odd. Let's continue here.
To get back to work. Now, that's got some backlash because people have said, shouldn't you be at home raising your kids like you tell other women to do?
Right.
I think someone else goes on to say, why don't you just go and spend some time with your children? Can't they, have some... have at least one parent with them during the holidays. Look, back to work, spend time with your kids. Can they at least have one parent for the holidays? This is the first Christmas that these children will not see their father. And Erica Kirk just seems to be doing every single thing in her power, just lower myself, every single thing in her power to not be at home. And look, I don't know, I've spoken on that. Somebody else said here, it was all a distraction. The Senate was set to push the foreign aid bill today. This bill gives Ukraine $800 million, your dollars, the US taxpayer, and Israel $600 million, which is on top of the billions we've already given. I wonder what else we all missed by being hyper-focused on this. Which, you know what I mean? I fully kind of appreciate that there's things that come out like this sort of situation and it can be used as a huge distraction. For some reason, this situation has just turned into utter lunacy. Utter fucking lunacy. So that's Erica Kirk. She claims that the meeting was productive and we're now going to get back to work. We've got Candace Owens. She did release a little clip that sort of said she's still alive, which everyone was obviously happy about. And she says, Erica and I had an extremely productive 4.5-hour meeting that I think we both feel should have taken place a lot earlier than it did. Well, you're both to blame for that. You could have both reached out directly, privately, behind closed doors and had a discussion, but neither of you seem to have done that. Now, whether it was to build up this anticipation that I said this weeks and weeks ago, that where this was all heading was to a confrontation or a head-to-head between these two individuals. I called it weeks ago. I was told no. I was called lots of things, fat and moron, piss off, back over the seas and just talk about stuff over there. It's not gonna, and here we are. We're exactly where I said we'd be.
And it's interesting that says that Candace Owens says this is something that we should have done very early on. Well, she probably should have taken her own advice on this one, because instead of doing it early on, you immediately jump to turn it into another one of your docu-series, multi-episode docu-series, and for her own personal benefit and her own personal gain. But now in hindsight, well, it's something we probably should have talked about early on. Well, yeah, no fucking shit. You should take your own advice.
But it says, we agreed much more than I had anticipated. I would imagine that there's many people who probably wondering what could you have possibly agreed on unless Erica Kirk is agreeing that certain things seem nefarious, seem like they need to have additional scrutiny. We know what Candace Owens has said. She's pointing the fingers at people within TPUSA. She's raised issues surrounding Erica Kirk herself and the fact that she seems to be being followed around by Egyptian planes, which Erica Kirk seems to avoid this specific situation. It came up in the Voice interview and she dodged it like dodgeball. So it will be very, very interesting to see what points they agreed on. I think what we're going to look at next is the obvious things, what they're going to disagree on. Candace says, I will, of course, have a full rundown for you all tomorrow, as I'm currently exhausted, which I can appreciate that. But I wanted to quickly let you guys know that absolutely nothing was held back, and the immediate result was that tensions were thawed. there we go. Now, Delete Your Handler. I showed posts from Delete Your Handler in the past, including yesterday. Delete Your Handler jumped straight on with, this is not an update. It's a damage report wrapped in...
Yeah, this one is interesting from Delete Your Handler, and this is what I'm talking about. So he comes right out and he talks about this, and he says where, you know, and he's going to read this out to you, and this is important to see, because this is what I'm saying about the Matrix kind of doing all this, and it's like, it's very convenient that this meeting happened for everybody. They all come out of it hunky-dory. Listen to this.
Diplomacy. 4.5 hours is how long it took to stitch two signal assets back together. They didn't meet to reconcile, they met to resync, to clarify the edges of the script, to reassign intent before the glitch spread too far. Intel was shared, nothing was held back, more agreement than expected. These aren't phrases from a tweet, they're phrases from a recovery protocol. You're not being told what happened, you're being told what to feel, that the tension has thawed, that the storm has passed, that trust can resume. But the real question is, who issued the order to seal the rift before the next act aired? This wasn't a peace talk, it was an edit session live from the control room. Now, it'll be interesting to listen to what you guys think to this situation, but we spoke, I mentioned earlier on the video that it seemed that promises were broken, and I do feel that promises were broken here as well. Now, it was claimed that both Candace and Turning Point, they would cease uploads, they would cease releasing anything until after this discussion was had.
So you remember when this was being talked about and that was supposed to happen yesterday. I guess it kind of did anyway, while the two of them were meeting. So that was a little wild too, that TPUSA went on the air and did their little information thing, despite the fact that both sides agreed to a temporary ceasefire. So TPUSA was originally supposed to go live with a debunking session and talk about all of the claims that Candace and others were making, and then debunk them live and discuss them all. And then that was put on hold so that Erica and Candace could meet. So Candace wasn't going to post or go on live and do anything. TPUSA was not supposed to go on live and do anything. And then Erica and Candace were supposed to meet. Now, apparently, TPUSA went live anyway while Candace and Erica were meeting.
It would appear that the planned sort of live stream didn't go ahead, where they were going to address directly the things that Candace Owens said. So off the back end of that, I can think, okay, what you meant by that, and I'm reading between the lines, probably offering them more grace than I should, and that is that perhaps they just meant that they wouldn't release a video or do this kind of rebuttal to what Candace Owens was saying. But they were quite snidey in the fact that they did do this. They released videos. And the videos, this first one, for instance, new evidence debunks Charlie Kirk conspiracy theories. So they're quite clever in the...
Okay, so they changed a little bit of the format of it in an attempt to keep their word. So rather than debunking everything that Candace and others have said, they decided to just go on a generalized debunking discussion.
When we're talking about Candace Owens and the things that she said, she's obviously raised issues, concerns about TPUSA, the security, and some other things in the peripheral of it all. But ultimately, it boils down to, we don't trust the narrative that's being pushed. She doesn't believe that Tyler Robinson was the person who did this, or there's a much bigger story to it. So what do these individuals do? Well, they get Paramount Tactical on, for a start, so another content creator, and they release one video saying new evidence debunks Charlie Kirk theories. We're just going to listen to a segment of this, not the whole thing. You can obviously head over to Charlie Kirk's channel, which seems to be the primary upload Area 4 Turning Point USA as their own channel seems to have fallen by the wayside. But let's just listen to a segment from this
video here, Gary. I'm just going to set you show it really quick so people can see how easy it ultimately was to get on this rooftop access point. 133.
All right, folks. So here's the stairs that go to the roof. Wow.
So they're showing that's how Tyler Robinson got to the roof to get into position. That fencing was not there at the time. It has since been put up, after the shooting. So they're showing how easy it is to get on, how easy it really was, because Candace said you had to be like Spider-Man to get up there, and it wouldn't have been possible. And obviously he jumped off the roof from another spot, because if you ran back this way, you would run into anybody that was coming after you. So if he had to get off the roof, he'd have to go through an alternate route. But they're indirectly debunking what Candace is saying by showing this video of how easily he just walks onto that roof section.
This wall is about maybe 3 feet tall.
So they're looking. What they're doing in this video is basically trying to debunk conspiracy theories that would suggest that Tyler Robinson couldn't have done it. It was too difficult. How did he get on the roof? How did he get off? Things like that. And they're trying to say how easy it was to get onto the roof. My argument here, my rebuttal, and I'll just come up here to say this, is if you've got an individual who is scared for his life, which Frank Turek is saying this guy, Charlie is scared for his life. You know what I mean? He has received, there's something going on that has led him to believe that he may not be safe. And he's paying for security. He's got a fucking security team. Which there's whispers, and I don't know how fucking true this is. This is Tim Pool again. So Tim Pool.
Yeah, so Tim Pool came out and said that that Candace Owens uses the exact same security team as Charlie Kirk and as others. They're all hiring from the same crew. And then she turns around to debunk the security team and say they were this, they were that. What was that weirdo doing in yada yada? Here's a little bit of that.
On one hand, he's saying that Erica Kirk doesn't have fucking security. He literally states that in one video that she's just got one fat security guard because she doesn't need security. Do you know what I mean? And so she's safe, basically, saying she's not fucking scared of her life. She's got one fucking fat security.
Yeah, originally he said she, she's not afraid of anything. She's only got one fat security guard and she doesn't have any other security. Then he turned around and he said that she has a full security team, which I always believe she had a full security team. The same as Charlie Kirk and everybody. Not only that, but from the same company.
Security guard. And then, lo and behold, he's now come out and saying that she uses the same fucking security team as what Charlie Kirk uses. So fucking hell, I don't know. If that's not a pivot, I do not know what is. That motherfucker seems to be treading water. He seems to be treading water. He's scrambling, boy.
And then here's the final thing here. This comedian John Chris says that he attended a holiday party recently, and he claims that Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Turning Point USA staff were there and all friendly with each other, despite the infighting and naysaying that's happening here. So if you start putting some of all of these pieces together, you have, it's like they're all controlled opposition. So they're on the outside for all of us to see. They are all fighting with each other. They are all at war with each other. And then what you don't see, and I'm going to play the clip of him talking about this. What you don't see is when they go to the holiday party, when they go to the event, like, guns down, it's a truce. And they're all together, they're all hanging out, they're all laughing it up and having a good time. It's like everything is performative. It's for us and our benefit for us to see. Now, go back to Erica meeting with Candace. Why wouldn't you have this on video in front of everybody? I mean, if Candace wants to be as transparent as she claims, you would say, no, I want to talk about this in front of the world to see. So they can hear my side, they can hear your side, and we can put it out there for everybody so it's fair. Instead, they have it behind closed doors where it's not recorded, and the only thing that you're going to hear is what they would like to personally share with you. So Erica can claim this or that came of the meeting. Candace can claim this or that came from the meeting. And both of them will control the narrative of that meeting from their own perspectives. And you and I will very likely never get the truth of what was really spoken in that meeting. You can assume you're going to get that when they sit down to have this discussion. Here's John Crist talking about this.
Tucker Carlson's there. Marjorie Taylor Greene is there.
Wow.
Candace Owens is there. Mm-hmm. And I go, Lydia, Candace Owens is here. She's like, what? Well, I go, Candace is here. She goes, tell her I'm reading her book. I go, not Candace Bure. Candace Owens is here.
Yeah.
She was like, what?
The other one.
The real one.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And then and then there's like a bunch of Turning Point people there. There's a bunch of like, I wrote down a list of everybody that I saw there. A bunch of comics were there. Brennan Shaw, Theo, a bunch of people, a bunch of MMA fighters in there. And I was like, I go, all right, this is what I always have thought about those kind of things. And I'll just say it out loud for everybody listening. And I've said this before in some kind of context. There was Turning Point people there. And Candace Owens was there. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson. I hate to say this out loud. Everybody friends.
Everybody's friends.
And I've said that before. Mm-hmm. And I go, I think I've heard before about Washington, D.C. Mm-hmm. It's like we saw like the Democratic majority leader and like the Republican, they're at dinner. I go, yeah, everybody friends. Mm-hmm. And everybody like kind of in like, we would see, like, let's say like Theo's good buddy of ours. He would be like doing something where you're like, oh yeah, it's kind of just for the thing, mm-hmm. for their job. They just kind of have to they kind of got to be on the sidelines and dump Gatorade on the coat. That's like kind of,
they're entertaining.
That's what their thing is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I go, wait, I thought you, because the thing he said about shouldn't you guys be fighting? Mm-hmm. Shouldn't you guys be fist fighting in the center of this party?
Yeah.
Everybody, hey, you want a drink?
Yeah.
Everybody.
See, there it is. It's all like it's performative. It's all like it's for our benefit. So the people that are buying into the grift from Erica Kirk, the people that are buying into the grifts from Candace Owens, these are not real people, and these are not real truth sayers that are giving you information. It's like paid opposition. They're working for the Matrix. All of this is performative, and all of this is for your benefit, for you to see, you to react to, for the slop for you to eat to keep moving forward. I'm telling you, folks, the more I see, the more that this is becoming just absolutely plain. What we're being shown is done on purpose, and behind the scenes, all the actors get together and they have a party and they have a few drinks and they pat each other on the back for the great performance that's happening. None of this is really real, and what's really happening behind the scenes, and the real reason Charlie Kirk was attacked, and maybe we never know. I don't really know, but you can't. There's a lot of these people that you cannot trust. Right, that's the update I got for today. Thanks, everyone. I'll talk to you again real soon.